The big day had finally come. The air felt fresh and cool outside Westminster Abbey. People had been waiting for hours to see the royal family. After Princess Kate's long health battle, everyone wanted to see her back in public with her family. The royal cars arrived one by one. The crowd grew quiet. All eyes turned to the black car that stopped right in front of the main doors. The door opened, and out stepped Prince William. He wore a dark blue suit and looked very handsome. He turned back to the car and held out his hand. Princess Kate stepped out next. She wore a beautiful white dress with blue designs. Her hair shone in the sunlight. The crowd gasped. She looked healthy and strong after her long fight with cancer. Her smile lit up her whole face as she waved at the people. The children came out next. Prince George, now 11, stood tall and serious like his father. He wore a blue shirt and dark pants. Princess Charlotte, 9 years old, stepped out in her white blouse and blue striped skirt. She held her head high and gave a small wave to the crowd. Last came 6-year-old Prince Louis, who jumped out of the car with a big smile. He waved with both hands and made everyone laugh. "They look so happy," said a woman in the crowd, after all they'd been through this year. It had been a hard time for the royal family. Princess Kate had surgery in January. Then doctors found cancer. She had to take medicine that made her very tired. Prince William had stayed close to home to help her and take care of their children. Now, walking toward Westminster Abbey, they looked like any normal family who loved each other very much. William put his hand gently on Kate's back. The children walked in front, talking and pointing at things they saw. The family was going to a special Christmas service that Princess Kate had started a few years ago. It was called Together at Christmas. Many other royal family members would be there too, but everyone wanted to see Kate and her family most of all. As they reached the big wooden doors, the family stopped and turned to wave one more time. The Abbey's bells rang out, welcoming them inside. This was a special place for William and Kate. They had gotten married here many years ago. Now they were back with their 3 beautiful children. The doors opened wide, and the Wales family stepped into the cool shadows of the ancient building. Their special day at Westminster Abbey had just begun. Inside Westminster Abbey, the family walked slowly down the long aisle. The stone walls rose high above them. Colorful light came through the big windows. Many people stood up as the royal family passed by. "Look at how brave she is," whispered an old man to his wife. Everyone knew about Kate's health problems. Seeing her walk strong and happy made people feel good. The family took their seats in the front row. Prince Louis sat between his parents. He could not sit still. He kept looking around at the tall ceiling and the shiny decorations. Charlotte sat next to her mother, back straight and hands folded in her lap. George sat by his father, trying to look grown up. The Abbey was full of Christmas trees with bright lights. Green wreaths hung on the walls. Red candles glowed everywhere. The place where William and Kate got married years ago now looked magical for Christmas. "Welcome to our special Christmas service," said the priest. His voice echoed in the big space. "We are very happy to have the Wales family with us today." Everyone clapped. Kate smiled and nodded. William put his arm around her shoulders for a quick hug. The choir began to sing. Their voices filled the whole building. Louis stopped wiggling and listened with his mouth open. The music was beautiful. Even George, who tried to look cool most of the time, seemed amazed. "Can you believe how big the children are getting?" A woman in the crowd asked her friend. "I remember when they were just babies." When the first song ended, Kate stood up. She walked to the front to read a special Christmas message. Her voice was clear and strong as she read from the Bible. William watched her with proud eyes. The children sat up straight, watching their mother. "This year has taught our family many things," Kate said after she finished reading. "We learned how important it is to have people who love you when times are hard. Christmas is a time to remember what matters most, being together." Many people had tears in their eyes. They remembered seeing Kate looking so tired earlier in the year. Now she stood tall and healthy, with her family beside her. Outside, snow began to fall softly. Through the big windows, the white flakes could be seen drifting down. It made the Abbey seem even more magical. Louis pointed and tugged at Charlotte's sleeve. She smiled at her little brother. The family's special day at Westminster was turning into something no one would ever forget. The Christmas spirit filled the air, and for a little while, everyone forgot about hard times. They just enjoyed this beautiful moment with the royal family. After Kate's speech, the service continued with more beautiful songs. The children's choir came forward to sing a Christmas carol. They wore red and green outfits and held small candles. Prince Louis watched them with big eyes. "I want to sing too," he whispered loudly. People sitting nearby smiled at his words. Kate put her finger to her lips and gave Louis a gentle look. Charlotte leaned over and said something quiet in his ear. Louis nodded and sat back, trying to be good. When the children's choir finished, it was time for everyone to sing together. The family stood up with their songbooks. William held the book so Louis could see it too. Kate and Charlotte shared another book. George held his own, standing tall like his father. The sound of hundreds of people singing filled the great stone building. The royal family's voices joined with everyone else's. Even Louis tried to sing along, though he didn't know all the words. "Look at them," said an old woman to her grandson. "They're just like a normal family, singing Christmas songs." And for a moment, that's exactly what they were. Not royal figures with big duties, but just a family enjoying Christmas together. After the singing, some special guests came to speak. They talked about helping others at Christmas. The Wales family listened carefully. William nodded at important points. Kate smiled when speakers mentioned children and families. George whispered something to his father. William smiled and whispered back. They looked like any father and son sharing a private joke. Outside, the snow was falling harder. The windows of the Abbey showed a white world beyond. Inside, the warm candles made everyone feel cozy. "Now," said the priest, "we have a special surprise for everyone." The big doors at the back of the Abbey opened. A group of people walked in, carrying baskets. They moved down the aisle, handing out small gift boxes to everyone. When they reached the royal family, they bowed before giving them their gifts. Louis couldn't wait to open his box. His small fingers worked quickly at the ribbon. Inside was a beautiful Christmas star made of glass. It caught the light and sent rainbow colors dancing. "Wow," Louis said in a loud voice that echoed in the quiet Abbey. People laughed softly. Kate helped him hold it carefully. Charlotte and George opened their boxes too, finding the same glass stars. The whole family held them up, letting the light shine through. It was a beautiful moment that everyone watching would remember for a long time. The Wales family's special day at Westminster Abbey was turning into a wonderful memory for all who were there. After everyone received their glass stars, the service moved to its next part. A famous singer walked to the front of the Abbey. The royal family sat up straight, ready to listen. The singer began a beautiful Christmas song that filled the big space with sweet sounds. Louis started to get tired. He leaned against his mother's arm. Kate put her arm around him and held him close. His eyes began to close, but he fought to stay awake. He didn't want to miss anything. The Abbey was warm and full of good smells. Christmas trees gave off a fresh pine scent. The candles added a hint of honey to the air. Outside, the snow kept falling, making the world quiet and white. "When I was young," William whispered to George, "my mother brought me here for Christmas too." George nodded. He knew his father was talking about Princess Diana, who died before any of the children were born. William looked sad for a moment, then smiled at his son. The singer finished her song, and everyone clapped. Louis woke up with a jump and clapped too, not wanting to be left out. Kate laughed softly and fixed his messy hair with gentle fingers. Next, it was time for the family to light special candles. They walked to the front of the Abbey together. William went first, taking a long candle and lighting it from the main Christmas candle. He passed the flame to Kate, who lit her candle. Then each child had a turn. Louis was careful with his candle, holding it with both hands. Charlotte helped him keep it steady. George lit his candle like he had done it many times before. The 5 flames glowed in the dim light of the abbey. "The light of Christmas shines in all of us," said the priest, "just as this family shares their light with each other." The Wales family placed their candles in a special holder at the front of the abbey. They stood together for a moment, looking at the dancing flames. It was a picture of peace and love that touched everyone watching. Back at their seats, Charlotte noticed that Louis was really getting sleepy now. She took a small toy from her pocket and gave it to him. It was a tiny wooden soldier, painted red and blue. Louis smiled and whispered thank you to his sister. The special day at Westminster Abbey was becoming one of the best times the family had shared all year. After Kate's long illness, being together in this beautiful place meant so much to all of them. "They really are a wonderful family," said a woman in the crowd to her friend. "They've been through so much this year, but look how strong they are together." As the service went on, a group of school children came forward to perform a short Christmas play. They wore simple costumes made of colored cloth. Some were dressed as shepherds, others as angels. The children acted out the Christmas story in a sweet, simple way. The Wales family watched with big smiles. Kate leaned forward, clearly enjoying the children's play. William clapped loudly when a small boy said his lines perfectly. Louis was wide awake now, watching with great interest as children not much older than him performed. "I want to be in a play," Louis whispered to Charlotte. She nodded and patted his hand. George sat up taller when he noticed some older boys in the play. He was reaching the age where he was becoming more aware of other children his age. William noticed his son's interest and gave him an understanding smile. After the play, the priest asked everyone to stand for a prayer. The royal family stood together, heads bowed. William put his arm around Kate's waist in a rare public show of love. She leaned against him slightly, taking strength from his support. "This family has shown us what it means to face hard times with grace," the priest said. "We thank them for being here today." Louis didn't really understand what the priest meant, but he knew it was about his mother being sick. He reached up and took Kate's hand. She squeezed his small fingers and smiled down at him. The prayer ended, and everyone sat down again. The children's choir returned to sing one more song. This time, they moved through the abbey, walking slowly between the rows of seats. When they passed the royal family, they bowed slightly. A small girl in the choir stopped by Louis. She handed him a paper snowflake she had made. Louis took it with wide eyes and a big smile. Kate helped him say thank you to the little girl, who blushed and hurried back to her group. "Look what I got." Louis showed his new treasure to his brother and sister. George and Charlotte made a fuss over the snowflake, making their little brother feel important. Outside, the snow had stopped falling. The sun broke through the clouds, making the snow-covered ground shine bright. Light streamed through the abbey's colorful windows, painting rainbow patterns on the stone floor. The day at Westminster Abbey was turning into one of those perfect moments that families remember forever. For the Wales family, after such a hard year, this special day was a gift they all needed. The service was coming to its end now. The priest stood at the front of the abbey and thanked everyone for coming. He asked the royal family to come forward one more time. William led his family to the front, walking tall and proud. "We want to thank the Wales family for being with us today," the priest said. "They have shown us what true strength looks like." Kate stepped forward and was given a beautiful bouquet of winter flowers, white roses, red berries, and green leaves tied with a gold ribbon. She thanked the priest with a warm smile. The children were each given small presents wrapped in shiny paper. "Can I open mine now?" Louis asked in a voice that carried through the quiet abbey. People laughed softly. "Not yet, darling," Kate said. "We'll open them at home." Louis nodded, but he kept looking at his present with eager eyes. He shook it gently, trying to guess what was inside. Charlotte gave him a big sister look that made him stop. The family walked back to their seats as the choir began to sing the final song. This time, it was a song that everyone knew. The whole abbey joined in, voices rising to the high ceiling. The Wales family sang too, even Lewis trying his best to follow along. When the song ended, it was time to leave. The family would go first, walking back down the long aisle to the big doors. Before they started, William bent down and whispered something to Lewis. The little boy nodded, looking very serious. As they began walking, Lewis walked extra straight and tall, trying to be very grown-up. He held his present carefully in both hands. George and Charlotte walked beside him, helping him keep in step. Kate and William followed behind their children, looking proud. The light from outside made the doorway glow. Snow still covered the ground, making everything look clean and bright. The family paused at the door for a final wave to everyone. "Thank you all for coming," William said in a clear voice. "This has been a special day for our family." Kate smiled and waved. The children waved too, Lewis using his whole arm with great energy. Then they stepped through the doors into the winter sunshine, a strong family ready to face whatever came next. Outside Westminster Abbey, the cold winter air hit the family's faces. The snow crunched under their shoes as they walked down the steps. Many people stood behind barriers, waiting to see the royal family leave. They clapped and cheered when they saw Kate and William with their children. "They look so happy," said a woman in the crowd, "after all they've been through." The family waved to the people. Lewis waved with both hands, almost dropping his present. William quickly caught it, and they both laughed. Kate smiled at her husband and youngest son, her eyes full of love. Photographers took many pictures. The family stood together on the steps for a moment. The snow around them sparkled in the sun. It was a perfect picture. The beautiful old abbey behind them, a happy family together, and the white snow making everything look magical. "Princess Kate, how are you feeling?" called out a reporter. Kate smiled and called back, "Wonderful, thank you. It's a beautiful day." Her words meant more than just talking about the weather. After months of treatment and worry, being here with her family truly was a beautiful day for her. The royal cars waited at the bottom of the steps. A man in a uniform opened the doors for them. Before getting in, William bent down and picked up some snow. He shaped it into a small ball and showed it to Lewis. The little boy's eyes lit up. "Not now," Kate said with a laugh. "No snowballs until we get home." William winked at his son and put the snowball in his pocket, pretending to save it for later. Lewis giggled, covering his mouth with his hand. The family got into their car. Through the windows, people could see them talking and smiling together. Lewis was already trying to peek inside his present again. Charlotte was helping him be patient. George was looking out the window, waving to the crowd. As the car pulled away, the family settled back in their seats. They had made it through another public event. For Kate, who had spent so much of the year away from the public eye, it had been a big step. For the children, it had been a fun day full of songs and surprises. For William, seeing his family happy and together was the best gift. The royal car drove through the snowy London streets, carrying the Wales family home after their special day at Westminster Abbey. Back at their home, the royal family settled in after their big day. The staff had made everything cozy for their return. A fire burned in the fireplace, making the room warm and bright. The Christmas tree in the corner sparkled with lights and pretty decorations. "Can we open our presents now?" Lewis asked as soon as they walked in. Kate nodded, and the children sat down on the soft carpet to open their gifts. Inside each box was a small glass ornament, shaped like Westminster Abbey. The children held them up to the light, watching as they sparkled. Each one had the child's name and the date written in gold letters on the bottom. "These are very special," William said. "They will help us remember this day." Kate sat down on the sofa, looking tired but happy. The day had taken some of her energy, but seeing her family's joy made it all worthwhile. William sat beside her and took her hand. "You were amazing today," he said softly. "Everyone was so happy to see you." Kate smiled and leaned her head on his shoulder for a moment. After months of treatment and worry, days like this felt like precious gifts. The children played with their new treasures, being very careful with the glass. George found spots on the Christmas tree where they could hang their ornaments. Charlotte helped Louis find the perfect branch for his. "Look how they shine," Louis said, stepping back to see them on the tree. Outside, the winter sun was starting to set. The sky turned pink and gold, casting a warm glow through the windows. The snow outside still covered everything in white, making the world look clean and new. The Wales family had faced one of their hardest years, but moments like today showed their strength. They had stood together in the beautiful Westminster Abbey, showing the world that they could get through anything as long as they had each other. As evening came, they sat together around the fire. The children told stories about their favorite parts of the day. Louis talked about the paper snowflake. Charlotte mentioned the children's choir. George liked the candle lighting best. William and Kate listened to their children with smiles. Today at Westminster Abbey had been more than just a public appearance. It had been a celebration of their family's journey through difficult times. The memory of their special day would stay with them always, a bright spot in a challenging year. The next morning, news about the Wales family's Westminster Abbey visit was everywhere. People shared pictures of them in newspapers and on phones. The image of the family standing together on the snowy steps made people around the world smile. At breakfast, the family sat around their big table. Kate looked better after a good night's sleep. William read some of the nice things people were saying about their visit. The children ate their breakfast and listened. "People really liked seeing us all together," William said, putting down his phone. Kate nodded. "It means a lot to them. After this hard year, I think it gives people hope." Louis was drawing a picture of Westminster Abbey on a piece of paper. His version had extra big doors and lots of snow. Charlotte was helping him add details, showing him how to draw the tall windows. George was writing in a small notebook, maybe making a list or writing about yesterday. "Can we go back to the Abbey someday?" Louis asked, looking up from his drawing. "Of course we can," Kate said. "That place is very special to our family." William smiled at his wife. They both remembered their wedding day at Westminster Abbey. Now they had 3 beautiful children and had faced many challenges together. The morning sun shone through the windows, making the room bright and cheerful. Outside, children were playing in the snow. Louis watched them, eager to go out and play too. "After breakfast, we can go make snowmen," William promised. The day after their Westminster Abbey visit was turning into another good family day. For the Wales family, these simple times together were the most precious. The big events and public appearances were part of their royal duties, but the quiet moments at home were what they treasured most. As they finished breakfast, Kate looked around at her family. After a year of health struggles and worry, sitting here with William and their children felt like the greatest blessing. Their Westminster Abbey visit had shown the world that they were strong together, but these private moments showed the true heart of their family. The Wales family's journey had touched many hearts. Their entrance at Westminster Abbey would be remembered as a highlight of the year, a moment when hope and love shone bright for everyone to see.